Hey, so we're here with One Church, and we're just kind of wanting to give you a bit of the history of One Church. We've been plugging away at it. And myself, almost 27 years, and Stefan.
12 years. It's going to be 12 years this year. It came in and connected up.
So not newbies, but why we're doing what we're doing. But I'll probably go back into just the history because it's always interesting. I find seeing how people end up where they end up and why they do what they do. And for me, when I came into the city, I was planting a church here in Barrie, and it was. I thought, well, I'm gonna just take the city. We're gonna do something different as a church that no one's done in our city, and I've had a lot of ambition, and thought we had a particular DNA that was really good, and it's gonna just have great impact, and I did that for a few years. It's challenging planning a church, and then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can maybe hook up with some other ministers in the city and see if maybe there's something more we can do besides what we're doing as a church and just check it out. I'd never been a part of any ministerials before, and so I went to this one that was going on in the city at the time, and there was two ministers, and they were depressed, and the city was really hard, and they were like, how do we do anything in this city, and just back and forth complaining, and got out of there after that hour, and it was like, this is the biggest waste of my time. And I started my rant with God and just letting him know this is not something I'm going to do. It's just, why would I waste my energy? And I heard him as clear as day say, that's what I have to work with, including you. And when I heard it, I heard his pain, I heard his frustration, I heard so many things in just that one statement. And instantly, it convicted me because I was like, I was only seeing one perspective, what I could get out of it and what I wanted to do. And there was a lot of I in it. And I heard what he was dealing with, and he was seeing a bigger picture, and that he wanted to bring so much more. And he was limited to what he was working with, including me. So instantly I said, like, God, like, I repented, and I just said, like, what do you want me to do? And he answered very clearly and very quickly, because the sheep know his voice, and when he wants to get us something, he makes sure we know. So he said, bring your strength and fortify the weakness. Very simple. And if you know me, it's break it down, make it plain. I'm a type of person that has to move, but I need it simple. And so God just made it very simple for me. Bring your strength and fortify the weakness. And for me, I think the biggest thing, if I look at the history of why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I've done it for so long, is that's what I'm always looking at, is I've got a strength I can bring, but I am dependent on the strength of the other churches in the city that are bringing a strength that fortifies my weakness, and vice versa. And that we need one another for that reason. And I have one part, and that part I can bring, but I'm dependent on other parts that also have strength. And if we all learn to work together better, we do truly fortify each other's weakness, and we become much better. So that's for me, that's kind of the history of why it started. And so from there, we just started some things. So I didn't tell you that initial meeting. Out of those two pastors, one of them was a warlock, and so it was interesting. And I'm like, how does a warlock end up being in a ministerial? And it's because it was just churches. Well, we had to define what makes a church, because we're interested in being Christ-centered and uh, following what Jesus wants and biblical. And so we had to break down a statement of faith, get that foundation laid. And so that's been established. And from there we moved forward and we began to build. And so we took an area of need, and at that time, how many remember Y2K? Everybody was scared about Y2K, and so that was going on in our city. And an evangelistic ministry called Christ for All Nations with Reinhard Bonnke had created a really cool booklet. It was a very well done booklet presenting the gospel, and it was called Beyond 99. And they said if there's any cities that want to do this, if you can unite some citywide networks, we will make sure it gets to every door, and then we will help promote the churches and send people there to get the help they need, especially when they were kind of hopeless or feeling quite scared. And so our city, we were able to mobilize 18 churches at the time, and it became an outreach where we did this across our city. And then we thought, as a follow-up, we did a festival. It's called the God Is With Us Festival. And we had that down in our waterfront. We had big, huge tents rented. We did children's programs in the day. We did evangelistic meetings at night. We did youth programs. We did all kinds of things for an entire weekend, and we called it the God Is With Us Festival. Got huge media coverage. We had hundreds of people coming through. And it just was a glimpse at the beginning of what we could do as churches working together. And we were beginning to see that impact. And so from there, we've had ups and downs, and we've had political things where we've been able to be a united voice and have seen changes there. We've had united prayer movements through the years. We've had Jesus marches through the streets. We've had, there's just so many different things. And and I believe there's more, and like times are changing, so we've got to look at other ways that we can work together. But it's exciting working together with the churches.
One of the things that I appreciate coming into the city just 12 years ago, just 12 years as I mentioned, this is the second ministerial I'm a part of, but the first one was very similar. It was a hodgepodge of churches from every background. And one of the first things I did was to just put into place a statement of faith. This is the rallying point, these 5 basic principles, just because of my background, my church background, coming to faith, and where how I got discipled. But that is the foundation, and that's what makes us one Lord, one faith, one kingdom. That's what makes us one church. But those are non-negotiables for me. For myself, I of course, we are in the world. We engage with people. We engage with other faith traditions even, but it's a rallying point. The rallying point is Christ, is the scriptures, Christ, those, as I said, those 5 basic principles. And sort of find an organization where you can graft into that, because we all have strengths. Every church has strengths, every church has weaknesses, every denomination has strengths, weaknesses. But to have that heart for the city, to have that heart of Christ, I believe that we're one. It's not my words, it's His words. It's His call upon our lives that we would be one. And I want to be part of that. We need to be part of that. And getting over those things that keep us apart. I keep scratching my head. I think the heart of Christ, He weeps over His church because we are putting up walls that don't need to be there. Yes, there are differences. We know there are differences, and I bless tribal differences. But that which unites us is so much greater than that which separates us. And that's the rallying point here. We love one another. We'll have differences. That's okay. And I love the iron sharpening. I love the back and forth when pastors get together. We do those little bit of refinements, and that's okay. I can relate to people. They love Jesus. I love Jesus. They're blood-bought brothers and sisters. I'm a blood-bought brother and sister. So let's get together, friends, and let's see what God can do as we come together. For His kingdom in Barrie or wherever He causes us to be. Right now it's Barrie, friends, and I want to encourage you, if you've not thought about it, hey, we're all sojourning together, we're all on the path. No one has all the answers, but together I believe the heart of Christ is manifest in greater beautiful color when we are together as one body. That's the heart of it. That's the heart of one church. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why others have joined in, and that's where we're going.
And one person once said to me, and it was when we were in marriage counseling, and he said, you know, you don't compete with one another, you complete one another.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that I've carried into working with the churches, because sometimes there can be that competitiveness or that, you know, jostling, and it's like we're called to complete one another.
One kingdom, friends. It's only one kingdom.
Yeah.
It's only one God. It's only one faith. It's only one church. And guess what? There's going to be others up there when we get there that we'll never thought we would have seen. But hey, God knows his people. Amen. And we just want to be about God.
Exactly. And we're going to be together. Like he said, you know, people say, oh, I'm getting a mansion in heaven. It's like, no, you're not. You're actually going into a big house with many rooms. He says he's preparing a place. In my Father's house are many rooms. So we're going to be roommates. So if we don't get along here, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I want to start practicing here.
We choose to join our strengths together. We choose to come together for the sake of the kingdom, for the sake of the kingdom here in Barrie.
Yes.
Christ's kingdom, not your kingdom, not my kingdom, not his church, not my church, his church. One church, friends, one church.
Yeah, and if you're in another city network, if you're watching this and you're in a different city, just encourage you, do what you can to begin to rally them together, because there's just great strength. And the first rallying point that I've found is critical is prayer.
And that'll be for the next video. So join in next time and we'll continue on there.